Hey, Renee. Hey, Z, how are you? Doing very well, Shirley. How are you? Hey, Tamala. Hey, Olivia, how are you? Hey, Deshaun. Man, when I tell you that these topics tonight are really, really serious, man. Glad to hear that, Shirley. Hey, LaChanda. We'll give it just a few more minutes, and we're going to jump right into this one. Hey, Miss King. Hi, Yvonne. Hey, Brittany. Hey, Olivia. Just send the question to my inbox, and I'll read over it, and then we'll talk about it tonight. Okay. So listen, I got these inboxes at different times, and I decided to put them all together. Hey, Miss Brown. I decided to put them all together and talk about them in one setting because they're all serious. And in talking to the people who sent me the emails, it's just time to have this conversation because these are some really, really serious things. Hey, Rhonda, listen, tonight we're going to talk about abuse and different types of abuse. One is physical, one is emotional, and the third one was really asking, should I stay or should I go? So let's start with this one. All right, the inbox says, I'm in an abusive relationship with my wife. She has a really, really bad way of speaking to me, and I really want her to understand how hurtful her words are. What should I do or what should I say? Ladies, listen. One thing I need you to understand is that you have a gift of communication. You have a gift of really, really putting a certain amount of passion behind the way that you speak. It can be inspirational, and it can build a man up. It can take a situation and improve the situation or grow the situation. Anything really that a woman has is something she can multiply. So when you have a situation where you are upset, whether it's justifiable or you are upset because something is really bothering you, when you are not careful with your words, those words can be incredibly damaging. Now, unlike women, most times we men hold things on the inside. We internalize things, and we don't speak externally. But I want you to understand that when you speak to us, and we take those words inside, and we don't communicate them, that doesn't mean we didn't care. That doesn't mean that it didn't bother us. And that didn't mean that we're not listening to you. So when you're upset with us and you explode or you rage at us, that is hurtful. One of two things happens. When we being men, when we begin to shut down, we shut down in a way that's completely different. we become cold and ambivalent, and we become open to what else is out there. It's not justifying it. It's not making an excuse. I'm just saying it is what it is. There's a certain things, ladies, that you have that's a gift of building any situation up. So here's what I need you to take away. And in talking to this young man about his situation, his wife is verbally abusive. Verbal abuse is damaging. Now, physical abuse, we'll talk about that in the next topic. But verbal abuse isn't something to be taken lightly. And if this is your husband or somebody you're in a relationship with, don't sit there and say, man up, or take it, or I thought you was a man, or all this other stuff. When you're in a relationship with your husband or your man, you have to recognize that there's a certain amount of vulnerability that we're carrying, that we hope to be able to share with you in an intimate setting, not necessarily a sexual, but an intimate setting that allows us to take the burden away and be recharged. And if we're not allowed that at home, we're going to get it somewhere else. We may not necessarily go outside of the marriage physically, but we'll find some type of way to build ourselves back up. Ladies, here is what you really have to understand. More so than anything that most men say, women, your words are powerful. Women, things that you do, you tend to do with more passion than most men. If you watch a woman play tennis, it's vicious. It's not vicious in a bad way, but it's so intense. If you watch women play basketball, it's so it's intense. It's just a different level of intensity than it is when men play basketball. Not to say it's worse or better. It's just different. When it comes to communicating, ladies, when you communicate with us, and you give us words that are damaging words, you tear us down in a way that the world can't tear us down. So this young man right here, he is in a situation where he is in a verbally abusive relationship. And ladies, I caution you to please understand that when you give us that viciousness, that volcanic reaction, and we feel like that we can't come home to peace, we find reasons not to come home. So I just really want to communicate that in talking to this young man, my advice to him is to, with his wife, seek out professional counseling, because he's reaching out because he wants to stay. Ladies, you got to make something worth staying home for by giving us peace at home. Now, just to clarify, I don't mean if I come home 3 o'clock in the morning, you don't have stern words for me. That's not what I'm saying. I don't mean, if I've done you wrong and I've disrespected our marriage, that you sit there and take that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that be fair. Be fair. Everything isn't an explosion. Be fair. If we're having an argument about me coming home late, just get on me about coming home late. Don't pile on every little thing that's been building up forever since we've been together. You're going back 4 or 5 years, and you're calling me out my name, and you're beating me down verbally. No person, man or woman, needs to go through that. Last thing on this topic. Physical abuse is bad. Emotional abuse can tear you down in ways that physical abuse just can't match. Now, I'm not saying either one of them are good. I'm saying that physical abuse, that's one thing. The body is miraculous. The body can heal itself in a way. But that mental damage, it can stick with you and poison everything you do. Everything. So ladies, please be careful with how you speak to someone who loves you and who's trying to do right and do the best that they can. Breathe life into your husband. When you breathe life into your husband and you feel him back up, what he's able to do is go back into the world and continue to try to make things happen for the relationship. That's it. The next topic. The next topic is about physical abuse Physical abuse. Whew. My husband, my husband suffers from alcoholism, and oftentimes he drinks too much. When he drinks, he's violent towards me for anything that I say or do. I don't know what else to do with this relationship. Should I stay with him or should I leave him? Okay, folks, look. Alcoholism is a whole different conversation. There's nothing wrong if you are an adult and you want to have a drink every now and then, or if you're in your house, you want to drink as much as you want to. That's completely up to you. Here's the difference. When you drink and you lose control and you become abusive, that's indicative of a deeper problem inside of you. Now, as the person who unfortunately is experiencing the abuse, what you have to do is make up your mind that you do not deserve it. You do not deserve it. Listen, nobody's saying that I'm perfect or that you have to be perfect or anything like that. What I'm saying is nobody deserves that type of treatment. Now, from the conversation I had with this young lady, this is not a one-time thing. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has ups and downs. I get it. I'm not excusing it happening one time. What I am saying is that if it was one time that it did happen, maybe that's something that's workable. Through counseling, through hard work, through humility on that person's part, maybe that's something that they can get beyond and the relationship can repair itself and grow with the right type of effort. That's not what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about someone that abuses you. Being abused is a two-part relationship. The first part is the hole or the hurt that the abuser is carrying. That's something that you can't control. They have to want to feel that hole. They have to want to get better. The second part is you being the abused and I hate to say it like this, but you tolerating it. You staying in that situation. In some instances, you can become your worst enemy by staying. In this instance, I do not think you should stay. In this instance, I believe that you would be much healthier physically and emotionally by leaving. I mean, from our conversation, this happens way too often. If it's every week, you should not be there. If you know on Fridays it's coming, you should not be there. No way around it. No way around it. Nobody's perfect. Please understand me. Nobody's perfect. But this isn't a mistake. This is someone who's choosing to take whatever pain they have on the inside out on you, and you do not deserve it. All right, and I'll share what I told her. Sometimes you just have to disappear. I mean, you just have to, while he's at work, whatever the case is, you have to disappear. I understand she didn't want to involve the police. She didn't want to do anything like that. Hey, I get it. She didn't want him to get arrested. I understand. If you want to protect him like that, that's great. You got to protect yourself. And in protecting yourself, that means that you remove yourself from that situation and get out of it. I can't stress that enough. Now, I'll tell you this, like I said earlier, if it were one time and it had just happened and, it was a bad situation and you said this and he said that and it just escalated, that is completely different. What you told me is that this happens nearly every week. No, sir. Nearly every week, that means you need to go. You may even just want to leave everything there. Everything and just start fresh and go. Okay? I don't mean to disparage marriage. I don't mean to talk about any situation like that. What I am saying is that sometimes you just have to go. This is one of those times. Every week? No. You deserve better. You really do deserve better. That one's really, really, I mean, when I tell you that I've had some conversation in the inboxes, that conversation, that one was emotional. That was emotional because this is someone who feels like they can't do any better. Feels like they cannot do any better. That means that you have submitted to the abuser. You've given up all of your positivity and said, hey, this is all I'm worth. Somebody that comes home every week, drinks, and punishes you for their pain. You're nobody's punching bag. Sorry. You got to go. You got to find it within yourself to go. And I hope you will. I really do. Okay, the third topic kind of is the same thing, but it deals with physical abuse. So that I don't become redundant, I just want to touch on abuse as an overarching topic. Listen, we all have fallen short. We all have made mistakes. We all have done things that have really, that we wish we could have done differently. The bottom line of it is there's a certain amount of self-respect that you have to carry. When you carry that certain amount of self-respect, you immediately recognize when someone's trying to disrespect you. In fact, they recognize when they're trying to disrespect you. And when they recognize when they're trying to disrespect you, they correct themselves. When somebody says something that's crazy, and you give them this look like, who you think you're talking to? Most times they'll correct themselves and they'll apologize. That self-love, that self-respect, that's something that we all have to work on building on. And when we build on our self-respect, we actually repel people that won't respect us. We actually push people away who don't have respect for themselves because we won't resonate with that person. It is what it is. 1 second. Nala. Yes. Robbie. I'm sorry. My grandbaby said she is hungry. So we got to take care of the grandbaby. But we definitely have to make sure that we are carrying a certain amount of self-respect, because self-respect will carry us further in life than anything else, and it will protect us. Self-respect keeps us from doing certain things or putting ourselves in certain situations because we know we're better than that. We deserve more than that. One last topic, and this is another one about emotional abuse. Ladies, I know someone right now that's being emotionally abused in a different way. It's a controlling type of situation. Controlling meaning this: don't want you to go out, but I'm going to go out. Don't want you to dress this way, but I'm going to dress any type of way I want to. Don't want you to post this on Facebook, but don't worry about what I'm posting. This hypocritical double standard, this misogynistic, macho, overly aggressive type of supposed alpha male. Ladies, let me tell you about an alpha male. Alpha males don't talk about it. Alpha males don't have to proclaim that they're an alpha male. Alpha males aren't rude or brash or going around bragging or anything like that. You can tell an alpha male by his actions. He just takes care of stuff. He doesn't worry about what somebody else is doing. He's not impressed easily by lavish this and lavish that. What an alpha male actually does is he's a man who walks around with high standards and humility. He's smart enough to know that what I have is worth a lot because I have self-respect. At the same time, I don't have to build myself up by trying to tear somebody down. If you are with a man, or any person, male or female, that they have to brag on themselves, or they proclaim that they're an alpha male, they're usually not alpha, because alphas are about the business of being about it, not talking about it. And sometimes they can be very unassuming, very quiet, not quiet, just not all out in the forefront, because they're too busy. They're too busy doing stuff. And when they let their hair down, or when they decide to do something, you can tell because they're relaxing, they're going out to have fun, but they're never so immersed in the fun that they get mixed up with the crowd too much. They always find a way to stand out without bragging, without trying. They just stand out. So if you are with someone that is rude to someone else for no reason at all, or if you're with someone who constantly looks for ways to try to make themselves look good by making somebody else look bad, understand what you're getting yourself into. That potentially, that same type of arrogance could be turned on you. So I just really, ladies, I really want you to understand that the men that act the most confident and act the most braggadocious and all this other stuff, usually those men aren't confident. That's a front to mask just how insecure they really are. And as soon as you get with them, and as soon as you get to know them a little deeper and you go further in a relationship, you discover that that was nothing but a facade. Behind the big bad dude is a little boy. A little boy who has some type of pain he suffered, some type of trauma that he's using this big strong facade to mask. It's not healthy. Not every man is like that. I'm just saying that every now and then, that man is just a little too rude, or a little too boastful, or who's always in somebody's face, who's always trying to start something. That's not necessarily the dude that's going to give you the type of emotion, the emotional support that you need. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Last thing, and then I'm done. I want to let everybody know that when grown folks get together, good things happen. My my granddaughter and the young man's family has been very, very, very welcoming. I mean, we've talked, and when I tell you that family has gotten together and you know, they're happy, we're happy, and everybody's celebrating the birth of this young baby, that's the type of stuff that you come to appreciate in our community. It's like we've known them for years. I say that to say this. We have so much potential between us, black men and black women, women and women, men and men, as far as getting along, as far as partnering and making things happen, as far as looking beyond our small selves and looking at the big collective part of our community. We have so much potential, and when we decide to stop being so caught up in that small part and think on the bigger picture, that's when things get accomplished. When we accomplish things, everybody notices. Everybody. Just think about all these fragmented parts of our community right now, all these fragmented parts. Whenever we start to do anything positive, everybody has to attack it. Everybody, because they know that when we start working together and we cooperate, we change the world. So I'm not having these conversations to tear anybody down. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not upset at any men or women or anything like that. I'm just saying that when we decide to work together, it's powerful. It's powerful. And I just want everybody to understand, I appreciate you watching. We still have a lot of work to do. The first thing, though, the easiest thing, is just talking to each other, being respectful of one another, and just beginning to build with each other. Just build some stuff. I saw a video talk. It was a banking professional, an executive VP of a bank, black-owned bank, who said that money, black money, stays in our community for, I think she said, 3 to 7 hours. 3 to 7 hours. That's because most of our businesses, unfortunately, most of our businesses can be barbershops or beauty salons. And we go there And that's really it. So we have to find ways to continue to feed our other businesses, our restaurants. We got to patronize those. Radio stations, we got to listen and, help fuel the advertising for that station. Our car dealerships. We have some black-owned car dealerships. They may not be on our side of town. Drive to them anyway. Okay? Wherever you can support a black business, do it. Do it. If you go to the gym and you go to LA Fitness, think about going to a black-owned gym. Some of the best results I ever got as far as physically being in shape was at a place called Universal Fitness. Black-owned business. Black-owned gym. And it's full. And it's off the chain. So, I'm just saying that last piece just to remind us that, we got things to do. And we can do it. It just takes a little more effort right now. When we invest in this time and invest in these restaurants and these businesses right now, when our children go up, they'll have more to invest in. And it becomes a generational wealth type of thing. That's what it is. So, I really, really appreciate everybody watching. Next week, I got this request. I do a radio show as well on on Thursdays. And I talk about reasons why women are single. And I got an inbox message asking me to talk about some of those reasons. Now, ladies, understand, I'll do it next week. When I talk about these reasons, again, it's not to put you down or anything like that. It's just to say, here's some things to consider. Here's some reasons why you might be single. And here's some things you can do differently. Consider doing differently. I don't have all the answers to that stuff. I just know that with some of the women that I've dated, these are some things that I've seen, and I'm going to share them. So I appreciate you watching. Again, if you like what we're doing here, just share it with different people. And don't forget to inbox me if you have any topics that you would want me to cover tonight. Matter of fact, let me check to see if I got that inbox. I did get an inbox. Hold on one second. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. All right, let's see. Okay. Okay, look, I just got this inbox message. I'm going to read this, and then we'll discuss it. I met a guy from another state in a private group on Facebook. He assured me that he was open to a long-distance relationship and wanted to be in one with me. Every day for 2 months, we talked via text, FaceTime, and by phone. We began dating. He had planned a boys' trip to come to my city. We met for the first time while he was in town, and we were sexually intimate. After the trip, he told me that he didn't want to be in a long-distance relationship anymore because he couldn't afford to pay for tickets to travel to my city. I find odd that he didn't know this before he pursued me. I can't help but to believe he just wanted sex and knew that I would not sleep with him unless we were in a relationship. It had not been 48 hours since we've been together, and he is now openly flirting with other women in the group. I'm very disappointed and sad. If I knew he wasn't serious, I would never have slept with him. How do I move on, and was I duped? Man, oh my goodness, listen. Yes, you were duped. Yes, this man was duplicitous. He was deceitful. All of that stuff. He basically said exactly what you wanted to hear till he could get what he wanted. Listen, with a situation like this, everybody's grown. We decide that we're gonna have sex. We're grown. We can do that. Here's the risk that you take. If intimacy is the gift, it has to be something that is not low-hanging. It can't be low-hanging fruit. It has to be something that requires more work and more effort. This man deceived you. This man manipulated the situation. He said everything he was supposed to say. He did everything he was supposed to do to get what he wanted. And now he's showing you that he wasn't in it for anything else other than the physical. Because he's showing you that. Learn from it. Don't think about how he deceived you anymore. Don't think about how wrong he was anymore. Don't spend any more energy on him. Take that as an experience. And when you take it as an experience, what you can say is, you know what? I know better next time. You know what? Everybody makes mistakes. And this was my mistake right here. When you take it as a mistake, as a bad moment in time, but not making you a bad person, you can move forward. Just remember, it was a bad moment in time, but you are not a bad person. In fact, he's the bad person. You don't buy into him being a bad person or his negativity. You let all that go. You let it go and you move forward. When I say move forward, here's what I mean. Good or bad, don't spend any more energy on him. If he's flirting in that group, let him flirt. Let him do what he's going to do. Because he's shown you that he is not worthy of you. He's just not worthy of you. So you don't lower yourself anymore. Just know it was a bad moment in time. You are not a bad person. And move forward. Listen, I believe in you, and I believe how strong and positive and how charismatic you are. Now, you take your strengths and your truths and you continue to move forward. Just don't focus on anything else related to him. Focus on you. Focus on making peace with what happened and let it go. That's it. Okay. So, hey, like I said, I get topics all the time, and this one came to me tonight live on air, so I just decided to talk on that one and just to share what it was. Ladies, again, sometimes we men, we know what to say, we know what to do to position ourselves to be in the right place at the right time. However, it's a bad moment in time. It doesn't make you a bad person. Okay? No, Charlotte, you didn't miss it. You just came a little late. So you have to watch the replay once I end the video. That's all that I have for tonight. Again, stay positive. Share this with people if you want to, if you like what we're doing here and you think you find it positive and worthwhile. We'll be back next week, and next week I'm going to talk about some of the reasons why some women may be single. Not every woman, not all the women out there. This won't apply to every woman. These are just some reasons that I found where some women may be single. All right. Good night. Talk to you next time.